Namaste. Welcome you all to the day 3 of Prachar. Krishna Kumar Ji always used to say that his flagship institution, AVP, stands for Achar, Vichar and Prachar. Achar means practicing of Ayurveda. Vichar means thinking or developing one's own thought process in Ayurveda. And Prachar means spreading Ayurveda or globalizing the whole science. He believed that his purpose in life was Achar, Vichar and Prachar of Ayurveda and other Indian systems of knowledge. And he lived by that principle and urged those who were drawn to him to do so. It was Krishna Kumar Ji's vision to Prachar Ayurveda for everyone who seeks knowledge. Since taking charge of AVP Group, he managed to put Ayurveda in front of the world by supporting the research activities and encouraging educational programs, as well as standardizing medicine production, Ayurvedic treatments via multiple institutions of this excellence. He has always been our guide, mentor, and he inspired and supported us to push the envelope in all ways to move Ayurveda forward. Even after his loss 1 year ago, we are committed to take his legacy forward, to see his plan through and to realize his vision. Let's start this day with a prayer.
Namami Dhanvantarimadidevam Surasurairvandita Pada Padmam Loke Jararubhaya Mrityunasham Dataramisham Dividaushadhinam Maitrim Bhajata Akhilarjetrim Maitrim Bhajata Akhilarjetrim Atmavadeva Paranapi Pashyata Atmavadeva Paranapi Pashyata Yuddham Tyajata Spardham Tyajata Yuddham Tyajata Spardham Tyajata Tyajata Pareshu Akramamakramanam Tyajata Pareshu Akramamakramanam Maitrim Bhajata Akhilarjetim Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Janako Devaha Sakala Dayalu Janako Devaha Sakala Dayalu Damyata Datta Dayadhvam Janata Damyata Datta Dayadhvam Janata Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam.
Thank you, Dr. Anandi. Welcome to Prachar, inspired by Krishna Kumar Ji to mainstream Ayurveda and other Indian knowledge systems globally. Organized by Ashirvad Health and Education Trust and Sharanya Ayurveda Hospital, supported by the Arya Vaidya Pharmacy Coimbatore Limited and Ashirvad Ayurveda Pharmacy. A 7-day webinar to get to know leaders of Ayurvedic movement and innovation from across the globe, challenges and possibilities according to them in the education and practice of Ayurveda in the respective countries. On day 3, we are joined by Puan Sri Siu Yong Jnanalingam, Dr. CDCB, Dr. Anita Mahapatra, and Dr. V.C. Ajit Kumar. Thank you for joining us, dignitaries. We welcome you to Prachar. They will be introduced to you in detail by our moderator. First, let me introduce our moderator for today. Today's moderator is Dr. Prajna Chittavadagi. She took her UG from Basaveshwar Ayurveda Medical College, Bagalkot, and MD in Kaya Chikitsa from Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Hubli. She is currently pursuing her PhD in Kaya Chikitsa from Parul Institute of Ayurveda. She is a proprietor and consultant at Ayur Aura Wellness. She considers herself a humble seeker in the path of spiritual transformation, for which Krishna Kumar Ji has been the prime initiator and facilitator. Dr. Pratnya, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Sriji. It's a very humbling and honorable opportunity to have Miss Puan Shri Siu Yong Nanalingam. She is current International Convention Chair of Soroptimist International Convention, who also serves as trustee for Women's Institute of Management, Yayasan Sejahtera, Yayasan Press Foundation, Malaysia. She had visited Krishna Kumar Ji 20 years ago under the invitation from Dr. Ram Kumar, and she was inspired, and her journey of starting an Ayurveda center at Malaysia was inspired by her husband, Tan Sri Gnanalingam. Sri Tan Sri Dattuk G. Gnanalingam sir is a prominent Malaysian businessman. He is current executive chairman of Westports Malaysian and one of the Malaysia's leading port operators. He is ranked 15th in the list of billionaires. They together had a dream to bring Ayurveda in a language that is understandable to everyone at Malaysia. They were the pioneers and they were the oldest associates of Krishna Kumar Ji. I am so honored to have you, madam. I wholeheartedly welcome you from entire team of Krishna Kumar Ji's followers, students, and all the knowledge seekers. I request you to kindly tell us how the conversation at Malaysia was begun by you and how Krishna Kumar Ji inspired you to do the same. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Okay. I'm on now, right? Thank you so much for the introduction, which is too much, I think. But really, the credit should go to my husband. But first, let me officially thank the Ayurveda Health and Education Trust for this very kind invitation to participate in this webinar series in remembrance of your beloved founder, the late Padma Shri Dr. P.R. Krishnakumar, who was also head of the Arya Vaidya Pharmacy, AVP group of institutions in Coimbatore. That's how I officially met him. So I'm really deeply honored to be able to make this presentation, to share my experience in the founding and developing of Ayo Center Malaysia on this webinar series entitled PRACHAAR, inspired by the late Dr. Krishna Kumar to mainstream Ayurveda globally. I'm, of course, very pleased to have had the opportunity, which you mentioned just now, to meet the late Dr. Krishna Kumar when I first visited the AVP Center in Coimbatore in October 2000 to better understand Ayurveda, as by then I had taken a leap of faith at the request of my husband, Tan Sri G. Gnanalingam, to start an Ayurvedic center, the first in Malaysia at the beginning of the new millennium. I was also most privileged to have met up with Dr. Krishna Kumar once more in 2008, when AVP celebrated their centennial year of the founding of AVP in Coimbatore. I remember him as a kind and inspiring leader. But could I just request whoever is handling my slides to please have the slide on. Is there some technical issue?
Yes, madam. Kindly wait for a second.
I'm sorry. Seems to have some technical issue, I think.
Miss Aina, I think you can start the slideshow now.
Aina, do you have a problem? Are they letting you in? I'm sorry for this delay.
Yes, madam. I also
because I thought that she was going to be easily elected. She was on now, you know.
So
Aina, can you answer? Can you say what's happening? I'm in London, actually. I'm having some...
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
I can't...
Aina is in the name of Arihant, and she's the co-host now. So please, I have sent a request for her to unmute.
She was on just now.
She's still there, Ponsri, Nurena.
Can someone call her? And...
Yes, madam.
I'm unfortunately.
Madam, it's a technical issue, so you don't have to worry at all. We will resume the program in as soon as the slides are ready.
Maybe I should have sent it over to India instead. Huh?
Hello, hello, Aina. You are unmute now.
Hello, hi. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm having a difficulty. I cannot share my screen.
Okay. So kindly send the PPT. I will talk to you via WhatsApp.
Okay, I did share with you through WhatsApp.
Please.
Do you have it?
It's quite heavy. Then I'm not sure whether you.
Did you not send earlier a copy to them?
No, because Dr. Jivan said no need because I'm the one handling the slide, so no need to send to them.
But then you didn't test with them?
Yeah, I tried many times to share my screen, but cannot.
Can you try once more?
I try again.
Yes.
Okay.
Dear Madam, with your kind permission, can I request Madam to answer me a few questions? We are so excited to have her on the conversation with us.
I think it's no. The screen is.
By the time the PPT is download, we have.
Yes, it's working now.
Okay.
Madam, I'm extremely sorry for this technical delay that happened.
It's our fault, actually. It's my fault. I wish I had the slides with me. I could have asked my grandson to help.
You all can see, right? You all can see right here.
Nothing.
Yes. Please start the slides.
Can you start the slides?
Okay, Padmashri, you can proceed. Yes, you can proceed now.
The slide of Dr. Krishna Kumar. The first slide. Can you put the first slide? What's happening?
You can continue. You can continue.
No, I can't continue without the slide. Can you just?
We can't see the slides. Can you double click on the reference slide presentation?
It's not on.
It's not. Okay, hold on. I shared already. Okay. Here, can you see?
No. A lot of. I think should I carry on without the slides then? I don't.
Okay, Madam Aina, can you double click on the, yes. Okay, thank you.
Can you go back to the first slide, please?
Yes, this is the first slide.
Right. So as I was saying, I was most privileged to met up with Dr. Krishna Kumar once more in 2008 when the AVP celebrated the centennial year of the founding of AVP in Coimbatore. I remember him as a very kind and inspiring person. And I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be associated with this webinar series. So I would now like to proceed with my official presentation on Ayo Center. Can you put the next one on? The official launch of the brand Ayo Center as the premier Ayurvedic center in Malaysia was held in June 2000. This was 6 months after my husband, Tan Sri Nyanalingam, has asked me to start an Ayurvedic center. So there were visits by Dr. Ram Kumar from AVP who helped me to understand exactly what I needed to do to start Ayo Center. I am most grateful to him for his advice and help. Thank you very much, Dr. Ram Kumar. The official event of the launch was by Tan Sri Nyanalingam as the founder and me as the director of Ayo Center. The event was held at the Malaysia Airlines, the MAS Academy, because I was associated with them for a long time. And we had about 200 guests in attendance. We had a very colorful and exciting show of Indian and Malaysian dances to make the event very memorable. So because, we also introduced the Malaysian flavor and the Indian flavor for this launch of Ayo Center. So after the launch, we had the first operational center in Petaling Jaya, which is in the state of Selangor. The map will show you. And this was on the 10th of September 2000. This center had outpatient facilities for consultation, as well as all treatments in one building on one side of this road. It was section 16, we call it. And we had an inpatient center with 8 beds on the other side of the road, opposite to the other center. This was to make it, because we didn't have enough rooms in that one place, so we had the other building on. So this was the outpatient center, which actually is no longer there. And we had Dr. C.B. Churamal, he's actually on the panels too, as the first Ayurvedic doctor in Malaysia at the center in PJ, and Mrs. Bini as the pharmacist with another 2 males and 2 female therapists. That was the start of Ayo Center. And of course, we moved quickly on without telling you the difficulties yet. For our next phase of development, we had all with great hopeful intentions. We wanted to start a new center in Langkawi, which is at the north part of the coast, on the west coast. And this is a famous resort in Malaysia. But due to the fallout of the Iraq war, at that critical point in time, we found the situation not positive for us to do so. So we gave up the idea of starting the center. By then, we had a lot of our staff ready, from India, ready to come in. So as such, I very quickly moved on to find another place, and I found this in my home state. The center is Ipoh, it's called Ipoh in my state of Perak, in a beautiful location. And can you move on the next slide? Aina? Aina? Yes, and we had this beautiful location, but also quite far from the city center, because I didn't want it to be in the city center. That was my whole intention, to move it away to a more remote area, more peaceful, serene area. So this Ipoh Center was very quickly launched, of course, again by the founder of Ayo Center, Tan Sri Nyanalingam, on the 22nd of November 2001. Of course, the center was quite immediately operational with outpatient and inpatient facilities. We had 8-bed inpatient facilities. This location, as I mentioned earlier, was very remote and serene, and we were really hopeful that the center would be successful as in Petaling Jaya. This lady in the picture with me is a very good friend of mine, and she was not very well, but she has really found Ayo Center in Ipoh to be so, so helpful for her. She had cancer, and she is still wonderfully attached to Ayo Center and really believe in it. So I move on, and then, as I said, the location was serene and beautiful, but we weren't sure whether it was going to be successful, but we prayed so. Then moving on to another development, we moved forward to another state of Negeri Sembilan, and we had the location at Seramban, which is the capital of the state. Right, the center was located also far from the city center and in a beautiful bungalow, as you can see from here, with a huge garden and swimming pool facilities as well. Of course, I don't think we needed the pool very much, but it was already there. But it was beautiful to look at. We had a traditional Indian lighting up of the lamps ceremony to launch the event on the 29th of August 2003 in the presence of the wife of the Chief Minister of the State of Negeri Sembilan as the guest of honor. The Negeri Sembilan chief, we call him Chief Minister or Menteri Besar, and she's the wife at that point in time. And it was a very beautiful but simple ceremony, but meaningful. So as you can see, we had dances as well, and a nice meal and lighting of the lamp. This center had outpatient and 12 inpatient facilities in this Ayu center. On the 10th of September 2005, we celebrated the 5th anniversary of Ayu Center with the show theme, The Mystic of India. The ceremony was launched with a welcome speech by Tan Sri Nyanalingam, and we were honored with the presence of His Excellency, Mr. M.R.L. Narayan, the High Commissioner of India at that time, as our guest of honor at the Legend Hotel, one of the hotels in Malaysia. It was a super grand tea ceremony and, of course, a memorable occasion for us. Dr. CB is in here with His Excellency, Mr. Narayan. And then we had dances again and a fashion show to entertain the guests. As you can see here, we have, fantastic Indian dances and the fashion show, Indian not traditional, modern fashion show. We also celebrated our 10th anniversary, Ayu Center's 10th anniversary with medical camps at 3 locations. The first medical camp was at the children's home for the mentally retarded, physically challenged children in Ipoh. The event was officially honored with the presence of Her Royal Highness, who was from the wife, is the wife of the then Crown Prince of Perak, who is now the Sultan of Perak. He was at that point in time the regent of Perak, but now the father passed away and he's now the Sultan. So she is now the Sultana of Perak. And then in Suramban, the Suramban Center also ran a medical camp for a home in Suramban. And for the PJ Center, we had a medical camp at a home in Klang. For some reason, the Chinese press covered us. But sadly, in 2013, we had to close the Ipoh Center after 12 years of operation, as it was not able to sustain itself over the years. It was a very sad moment for me when I knew that I had to close it down. However, the reputation of Ayu Center as the premier Ayurvedic center in Malaysia was well sustained and highly respected over the years, especially the 2 centers in Petaling Jaya and Suramban. As such, it was decided that we will expand our centers to new buildings built for purpose on family-owned properties rather than on rented properties. So we were really going to do it, really build the foundation, and now we're going to proceed to extend it for the long term. We were very confident by then that we will be able to make it. The first to be upgraded was the PJ Center after we purchased a piece of property in another part of Petaling Jaya. This is the old property. We bought it, and of course, we had to pull it down and build something. We held the Bhumi Puja on the 18th of January 2013 before we laid the foundation for the building of a new PJ Center. Of course, we also had Vastu read and everything to make sure it's perfect. It took us almost 2 years to complete the building of the new Ayu Center. We had some issues with municipality and all that, but finally we did it. Okay, and we took really great efforts to ensure the interior was beautifully decorated with the tree of life painting and had green plants in the center to make it very meaningful and reflective of the word Ayo to mean life. This was something that I really was so proud of, you know, the tree of life and with the doves and all. The new center is complete now with 23-bed facility for inpatient treatment and outpatient for inpatient treatment. Of course, we have outpatient treatment as well. The center was fully operational on the 19th of October 2015. And then we move on to the new Seremban Center, which was also relocated to a beautiful building with green and serene surroundings. As you can see in the picture, we have a lot of greenery around it, and nearby is a forest. The new center has outpatient consultancy facilities and also 18-bed inpatient facilities, which became fully operational in April 2017. We are now moving on, and we to the year 2020, where we celebrated our 20th anniversary of Ayo Center in Petaling Jaya, the PJ Center, on the 10th of September, which, not coincidentally, is also Tan Sri Nyanalingam's birthday. We chose his birthday to start the center. As we know, it's a very auspicious day, and we had chosen it. So on the 20th, 2020, this year, 10 September, we had a birthday ceremony as well, freeing the birds and so on, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Ayo Center. Oops, sorry, yeah. Oops, what happened? Sorry. Okay. Oops, did I miss something? What happened? Give me a minute. Seem to have lost my slide. What is the next slide? Is that the last slide?
In 2020, yeah. The awards, for the awards.
Yeah, okay. Put it away now. What happened to that one? Give me a minute. I seem to have lost my paper. How come it's not here? Oh, yes, I found it. Okay, I'm very sorry. In the year 2020, we also, Ayo Center was also honored with the award of the Wellness Center of the Year. And Dr. C.B. Chiramal was named the Ayurvedic Physician of the Year by Yoga Life. So it was a double award. I was also very privileged to have been invited by the Malaysia-India Heritage Society to extend a Happy India at the 75th Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav Independence Day. I hope I pronounced it well. Message on behalf of Ayo Center, Malaysia, to the Indian High Commission on the 15th of August, 2021. That was just this year. They invited me to do the video to wish Happy Independence Day. So now, in conclusion, I would like to say we are very blessed to have founded, developed, and sustained Ayo Center as the premier Ayurvedic center in Malaysia. However, the journey was tough in the first 10 years. The challenges were many, particularly in the aspect of bringing in oral medicines into Malaysia. It is fairly easy, frankly, to operate an aesthetic or therapeutic center, but very challenging to operate a center offering full treatments for healing, as it then falls within the strict purview of the Ministry of Health, with all these rules and procedures to operate a medical type of center. The medicines have to be registered very strictly under the National Pharmaceutical Bureau in the Ministry of Health. We have had to trade very cautiously and a very discerning eye on staying within the very tight framework allowed. There has been a lot of tenacity and patience shown on our part over the years to be able to sustain the operations, and we will continue to do so. We are proud to have helped more than 100,000 patients over the years and also been able to establish a strong reputation as the only Ayurvedic center offering both outpatient and inpatient treatment as offered in India. So that's my conclusion, and I'll be happy to entertain questions later on.
Thank you so much, madam. It was really an inspiring, and it was inspiring to take a premier tour of highly respected center of Ayurveda at Malaysia, madam. Your wholehearted, soulful effort to reach out from a common man to a royal blood has been remarkable, madam. It wouldn't be wrong if I would mention it as Mr. and Mrs. Gnanalingam unleashed the new dimension of Ayurveda at Malaysia. On this Prachar, a program to remember the dreams of Krishna Kumar Ji to spread Ayurveda far and wide, has been given deeper roots. Over 2 decades of your relentless, humble and honest efforts are very much visible in what we saw so far, madam. Along with prestigious recognitions, Madam Gnanalingam is awarded with highest civilian award pertaining for her remarkable journey towards serving humankind through Ayurveda. We are humbled to have you with us, madam. May I kindly request you to please stay back for the discussions at the end of the panel. And I again humbly apologize for the technical difficulties that we faced in the beginning of this program. I'm honored you're with us. On behalf of entire team, thank you so much.
I must apologize to whoever's watching that I've delayed it, So I hope, forgive me, but I don't know. There was a little bit of a snack here.
You're so humble, madam. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. C.D.C.B. We already saw him working so hard. Madam already, on behalf of me, introduced Dr. C.D.C.B. Sir to us in the tour that we had so far of Malaysian premier centers of Ayurveda. Dr. C.D.C.B. will be talking on his journey from Coimbatore to Malaysia for Ayurvedic practice in its true form. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Prajna. My humble pranams to all, especially to Krishna Kumar Ji, who actually made me who myself is. I will start a brief about how I came into Ayurveda. I came to Ayurveda College in 1981. I think it's the 3rd batch. And until 1988, it's a 7.5 years. So when I was selected, the selecting process is like we have a written test, then you have a Viva OC test. And then after the examination and this test, my brother who came with me for the test asked me, do you think you will be selected? I said, I don't think I answered anything. I will continue to study in my college, St. Michael's College in my hometown. Let me just continue that. Then I started the college, I think almost a week or two finished. Then I got a card that I have been selected. I would say my father was so instrumental in this because he used to collect all the cuttings of the Ayurvedic formulas and everything, and he will keep it in the file. Then we were selected. I was selected to be there. So you wear this white pants and white shirt as a uniform. The reason to join this college was at hometown. I have 4 elder brothers who always there with me to control me. A very strict father tell me don't do this. Mother says this one. So it was so tough to be at home. So I thought, okay, going away, escape, Coimbatore, far away, run away like that. Then I reached there. When I reached there, I realized that it is more disciplined than when I was at home, because at least I could eat non-vegetarian food. I can play for my football and all those things. Here, you have to wake up by 4:30 and 5:15 you have to apply the oil and have a kalari. Then you should do yoga. Then you should pray, whether you like it or not. You have to sit inside the hall and you have to chant 1 hour the mantras. Then you have classes starting from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock. You have a lunch break. Then 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock you start again. Then you have a particular period of time you can play, and you have only particular day in a week you can go out to purchase whatever you want. And there will be senior students with us watching us what you're doing. It was so difficult. And you know, you will always rebellious about the things. And Krishna Kumar Ji is somebody who will come occasionally. When he comes, he will come with some Swamijis and we have to touch the feet and pray with him. And it was like a completely different way. You will feel that it's going to be tough. First year, second year, third year, slowly. The 7.5 years was a very strictly disciplined life. Not somebody, a student will like it, but you will slowly start loving it, because the lesson which you learn, the science which you are learning, and the great teachers you are introduced, like Nambishan Marsh, Moose Marsh, Shankaranarayan Sir, Muthuswami Sir, so many great teachers were introduced, Rajagopalan Sir, and all these teachers are somebody, they are like people who are always there with you to make sure that you study, you learn, you do this. The yoga sir is there to make sure that we do the yoga properly, then color. So it was a very, I would say, what Krishna Kumar Ji has done to all my friends and myself and all those students was something like a God-sent person telling, we know what will happen in your life. I know what's going to happen. I know what you're capable of it. Now study and learn. And then when I finished the program, Shankaranarayan Sir, which was, we call it very lovingly, Botany Sir said, I'm going to open a center. You come and start. Then we started Jivana Ayurveda Center. I was working there. And then in that period of time, I could actually get an opportunity to travel to Switzerland to treat a patient who was suffering from a rheumatoid arthritis. I was there for 5-6 months. Then I came back. That was the only opportunity I traveled in my entire life out of country. I came back and then continued practicing it. Then Krishna Kumar Ji said, we have a place where you should go to Bombay and you should open a center. And so I asked, I don't know Hindi properly to speak. Do you think I can do that? Yes, we know that. You don't worry. Everything will be taken care. You just go and just do what you know. I don't know what confidence he had it. He just, so I said, anything that I should remember? He only told me, whatever you learned in your college, you just continue practicing. Actually, in that 5 years or 6 years when I left Coimbatore, even though you didn't like to wake up early, even though you don't like to do the yoga, even though you don't like to actually chant a prayer, but somehow, even though after leaving the college, I continued that practice of waking up early, doing the yoga every day, practicing and chanting Lalita Sahasranam every day. But still I was a non-vegetarian. And then, but still in Bombay, the life was totally different. You are going to a place where it was actually a place which somebody was running, but AVP took over it. And there was hardly 5 to 6 patients, and some days they work, some days they don't work. But they have renovated the place, went there. And in that 5 years, from 9 to 9 p.m. I work, about 50 to 60 patients I see. About 25 to 30,000 patients in that 5 years I have seen. And I could meet great personalities like Amitabh Bachchan, Amrish Puri, Preeti Sindha. So many people, I could treat them and meet them. And I was actually enjoying that Bombay life. Because it's like you have the freedom to be there, and the food is there, and you can, it's a different life. I still love Bombay because somehow it has something in there. And then after 5 years, about 2000, Krishna Kumar Ji said, okay, now whatever you have done is done. Can you just travel to Malaysia? So I said, reluctantly, I said, it's a different country. I don't know the language. I don't know much of English, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. The only experience is doing a Tattva Pragashni along with Dr. Ramkumar in Coimbatore. That is the first conference maybe we have done. Apart from that, maybe we have done some art festivals in the college or something like that. He said, that's okay. That don't worry about it. You just go there. We have a wonderful team there. You can go and develop whatever you have done in Bombay. You go and do it there. Just remember, whatever you learned in college, what is that you have learned? Integrity, be disciplined. Try to remember that. Be authentic in your practice. Don't compromise or don't filter it. That's the only thing. You don't worry about it. You just go. Is it the confidence which Krishnakumar Ji had, or the discipline, or the integrity he actually taught us, is something you can't get it from anywhere. And he has that innate thinking that he work hard. He follow what he talked, like, you know, he wake up also. He also follow that diet. He also do, and he's telling me, do you still read the Ashtanga Hridayam every day? I said, yeah, sometimes. You have to read that every day. You should at least read one chapter every day. I said, okay, I will do that. And, you know, you come back and you continue that. Even until now, I do wake up early. I do yoga every day. I do chant the Lalita Sahasranam. I have become a vegetarian when I left Bombay. When Krishnakumar Ji said, you go. So I have become, for the past 20 years, I have been just being vegetarian fully. It has helped a lot because it helps you mentally, physically, and spiritually to a different level. The confidence which he had that, okay, you go, the rest will be taken care. Just remember, be authentic, don't filter your practice, be disciplined, keep the integrity. And that's all he said. You don't. And then even while I was in Malaysia, we had 2 Nadi Pariksha seminar where I could meet Dr. Vasanthaladji and Robert Subodha. So many people, the stalwarts of Ayurveda, we could expose, we could learn. And when we met him, when I met him, even in the Nadi Pariksha conference or the seminar also, he was still coming there every day, even though he was sick. He used to come at particular time, very sharp, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. If you say he will be the first person there, he's going to give this lecture. He's reading the book and he's telling, okay, today we are going to read this. What he has done last time, he's still doing the same thing and asking you to listen. And do you have any question? And whenever he get a chance, he will always talk so many big things and good things, even though sometimes some of the things I'll be wondering, is it myself that you are talking? He say, oh, Dr. CB from Malaysia has done that, who has done this. He will never fail to make you feel complimented. He will always acknowledge we have done. And he will always make sure that, you know, whatever you have done, follow what he said. He could do it. You can also do it. What happened in Malaysia? And he will say, you tell them what you have done in Malaysia. When I reached Malaysia, it also was like Padmashri and Tanshri, like, you know, they were the people. If the success has happened in Malaysia, it's only because of these 2 great people. Because, of course, starting a center, anybody can start. But sustaining it with all the difficulties of registering the medications. You know, when you come there, it's like you have seen, it's a building where you can actually have an outpatient, and there is 8 patients you can be admitted. Within 1 day, we opened the inpatient center. And people don't know what is Ayurveda, or even if they have an understanding, they know only very little about it. And they also have this some kind of a thinking this is a Hindu traditional thing. Can Christians come? Will Malays, Muslims can take this treatment? They have so much of misunderstanding about it. So to clear, the only way is you have to educate them. This educating them means there's whatever the few things we have done is we used to have monthly talks every month on specific topics. There may be sometimes 5 people, there will be 6 people, maybe 10 people will be attending it. To an extent that, because we have a lot of limitations from the Ministry of Health, I mean, it's all over the world, I think it's like that. They say, you can't say you can prevent disease. You can't say you can treat disease. You can't say you are actually, so many things you can't say. Then how are you going to tell the public that we are here? So the only way is in-house monthly talks, because nobody will come inside and ask you what you're talking. So every month. Then we realized it. We have to reach to the public. Of course, now in the beginning, we had maybe 5-10 patients. Now we have average 40 to 50 patients. We have to thank Padmashri and Tanshri, because without their support, nothing will happen. But behind this, the strength, the confidence which he had, there was a period that we never had oils because they said, okay, customs has stopped it. We don't have kashayams and we don't have anything with us, but the patients are coming. So we searched where we can get Ayurveda herbals. So we found a shop where they sell Ayurveda herbs. So myself, Baletan, Vasandechi, Shobi, Manoj, Lisi, Shakila, all these are the people who actually worked with me in the beginning. We will go around Monday morning, we'll go there to the shop, whatever the herbs we should collect it, we'll come back, buy the sesame oil, buy the milk and make oil there in Ice and Ritsat. We made oils, we made kashayams, we started giving that to the patient because not even one day, even during this COVID time, even 2019, September, December, they confirmed until now also, I said, Tanshe called me and said, do you think you can continue working? Because there are so much of restrictions from Ministry of Health that we said, it's okay, we will work. We continued, not even one day we closed it. We continued working in that way. We wanted to make sure that, and COVID patients does come, we do treat them. And any condition, starting from the cough and cold to the cancer, we deal. It's not just only one condition we treat or only a stroke we treat, only this is no, we treat all the conditions, chronic or acute condition. We don't actually say we can't. Whatever we can, whatever the things which we can't, we tell the patients directly, okay, this we can't treat. You may go for whatever the system. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have that confidence in the system, and if you have the discipline in your mind, and if you wanted to give that authentic, and if there is a support of people who like Tanshri and Ponshri, like people, and whatever Krishna Kumar Ji was dreaming, he said, I don't know what you are going to do. I know you will do it. I know you will succeed it. I know you will make sure that it is successful. I have the confidence in you. The confidence is created by him because he has that confidence in me and in the system, and he has the confidence in the knowledge which he has inculcated in our system. So he said, you just practice what you have learned, and your gurus and your teachers will be there with you. And every time when I go back to India, I will try and meet Krishna Kumar Ji, and I will spend, he will be always very busy. Sometimes we tell him, come here, okay, come. So go there. Maybe there will be 3 to 5 minutes, take his blessing and say, Krishna, this, okay, so how is happening? What's happening? How is it? He will not actually say, how many patients are there in a day? He won't ask any of those. He say, how is it going? How are you keeping? How is your wife? How is your family? How is Tanshi? How is Ponshri? Is everything okay? Do you need any help? Do you want anything more? Are they sending medicines on time? Are they sending everything is going? So do you have any difficulty in getting medicines? He will only ask questions which is to make sure that the practice is done properly. And he has this mission in his mind, and he has a vision also in his heart, and he knows that what we can and what we can't. And I believe that if I am something in this world, it's only because what Krishna Kumar Ji has done, and what he has taught us, and what he has trained us, and what he has actually shown to us that this is how it has to be done. There are many Ayurvedic hospitals opened, like more than 40 to 60 Ayurveda hospital centers opened in Malaysia, but there are many actually closed. And they closed because of lack of therapists, lack of patients, lack of medicines. But it's sustained because he said, practice it. You be authentic, you be truthful to the system, that nobody can block you. And nobody will be able to stop you. Just have the belief and have the discipline. You be disciplined, then you preach that discipline to the patients. So with the support of Krishna Kumar Ji, he's like a strong pillar. Anything, anytime, any issue, I can call and ask him, this is happening, what I should do. Okay, he will say, okay, you do this. After that, I will ask my Prasad to call you. I'll ask Dr. Ramkumar to call you. I will ask this person to call you. You discuss with them, and they will help you what to do. Here, Ponshri and Tanshri is there telling me, okay, Ponshri, there is an issue there. Okay, let me come back to you. Tanshri, there is an issue. Don't worry, you go ahead. I will take care of it. You know, it is the support of the teachers, the whatever we have learned from those great teachers and Krishna Kumar Ji, and my friends, my loving, lovely friends, which from the first year to whichever the year I was there. And these are the people, and my family and my wife, these are the people who actually made me believe in what I'm doing. And Krishna Kumar Ji was there all the time to tell that, do it this way. He was like a guiding person. He is not just a mentor. He's a person who you will never be able to forget what he has done. And I'm sure this is the same story for all my friends and colleagues. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very humbling to know Krishna Kumar Ji from your purview. I'm sure if somebody would have met CB sir in Nadi Pariksha class, he's so humble, so down to earth, like Krishna Kumar Ji, like the Guru, like the Shishya. He was sitting in the last row with a book and pen as if he knew nothing, as if he was a new student, as if he was a first year BMS. It was pleasure listening to your version of Krishna Kumar Ji per se, and you've reminded us his two very important things that you would always preach: wake up early and tune into the grace of God to be the best. Thank you so much, sir. I request you kindly be till the end for the discussion.
Sure.
May I kindly request Shri Dr. V.C. Ajit Kumar sir. He was one of the oldest students of Krishna Kumar Ji's Gurukul, and we would request him to talk on propagation and practice of Ayurveda in Singapore, his version of challenges and possibilities that he has come across. Kindly take over, sir.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sachal Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. My humble pranam to all of you. I am truly honored to be with you all today to remember a great visionary while sharing a bit about Ayurveda landscape in Singapore. I consider myself truly blessed to have a close association with the Padma Shri Krishna Kumar Ji since my student days. I can only remember him with gratitude or even reverence for his invaluable contribution to Ayurveda. I was blessed to feel his affection towards me as one of his favorite students. Even my first journey to my Guruji Sri Vaidyaratnam was made possible only by Krishna Kumar Ji. It's a bit about myself. I hail from Kannur in Kerala and been living in Singapore for last 18 years after a brief stint in Malaysia. During my student days, I was lucky to be part of his close circle. Listen to his words of wisdom, and he was never hesitant to share his insight and had a clear plan and power to execute his vision. I am a strong believer of authentic Ayurvedic practice with integrity to create a community of holistic healing and wellness, which is the value that was instilled in me largely by Krishna Kumar Ji only. This is how Ayurveda evolved over the years in Singapore. It is said that Ayurveda was practiced since 1932 in a traditional way to Singapore. Notable contribution came from late Sri Govindan Vaidya and his nephew, late Sri Apu Vaidya. In 2002, first professional Ayurvedic center with a therapy facility was set up in Singapore, with a qualified BAMS degree holder to start the things. While I was working in government service back in India, the offer to work in Singapore came calling. And Krishna Kumar Ji was one of the first people I called for advice. His reply was straight and very simple. Be in any part of this world, stay true to your values and to be an authentic ambassador of Ayurveda. He strongly believed that Christians are the best ambassadors which can be spread the goodness of Ayurveda, and I personally believe in this. He had that kind of trust in me and predicted that I will do well. For me, he himself had that great courage to grab new opportunities with a confidence. I am forever indebted to him for being a role model for me in this. Ayurveda community in Singapore became more robust in 2010 onwards by adding more Ayurvedic centers. And this year, we launched an Ayush Ayurveda Academy to bring the science forward and also to fulfill his wishes of propagating Ayurveda by spreading awareness to the global population. Like they say, prediction by great gurus and saints always come true. With humility, I can say that I was able to contribute my tiny bit to bring Ayurveda in Singapore as it is today. While we were in the growing phase, Krishna Kumar Ji assured me that he is always a phone call away, and he indeed was there for me whenever I needed a superior wisdom. Here is a bit of data about Ayurveda in Singapore now. 17 professional centers now, and 40 and more Ayurvedic practitioners in Singapore now. We offer almost 4 Ayurvedic services in Singapore now. In this juncture, I must mention how he supports us to ensure we are able to offer all these 4 with ease. Singapore has a stringent regulation in terms of content of medication, and some content raise too many questions to qualify to be used here about the heavy metals and all. I am still amused how Krishna Kumar Ji found a solution to it. He readily produced medicine as per the Singapore guidelines and exported them. Thus, the stamp is there for our daily life even today. I shall now explain some of the challenges we face and the goal we had to set and opportunity we had to seize and action we had to take. We all know that the world is going through an unusual situation. Again, this can only be get better with our collective framework. Challenges. We have many challenges. However, I can focus on the top 3, which need to be addressed as a community. As you guessed, the COVID situation comes first. The second is a saturated market. Majority of our customers are Indians. Singapore is a multi-racial country. We need to attract more races of Chinese and Malays. Last but not least, Singapore has a stringent directive about foreign manpower. Even though we are willing to offer a good packages to bring in foreign talents, workforce situation make it very tricky, and getting skilled therapists is in local is next impossible. And what are our goals? The government is offering support at this COVID time in terms of staff wages and rental, etc. But still, high operating expense cannot be met with the government support alone. Our goal is to be innovate as a community to deal with the COVID situation. Next, to expand the market, we need to generate a wider acceptance among all races, nationalities, and all age groups. Last but not least, address the manpower crunch. Sustainable solution has to be thought through. And opportunities. What are our opportunities? COVID is a situation where mankind is still wondering how to tackle it. We all know that nature and Ayurveda have a solution to all that come from nature. What is lacking is this awareness in a global community. We need to promote the COVID remedies from Ayurveda more actively and the immunity boosting impact of natural medication. Related to this awareness, how to reach more Indians through association, through clubs, or non-Indian media and channels might help. And actions. An effective opportunity that I strongly believe that our consultation time, using the time like an ambassador, go beyond just diagnose and write a prescription. Take some time to spread the goodness of Ayurveda and explain the concept of Ayurveda. Lot of trust can be developed by providing tips and home remedies to the needy people. For the manpower issue, we need to train more local who are willing to join. Regional collaboration is another opportunity that we can see. Beyond looking in the manpower from India, we had to look within Asia. Future of Ayurveda in Singapore. While we address all this, I am very positive about the future. There is a bright light I can see on horizon. We have to be strong together to collaborate with other communities. We have strong together always. There are many avenues where the community in Singapore, Malaysian and ASEAN at large can collaborate. Collaborating in creating an Ayurvedic community and collaborating for exchange the knowledge and set up a platform to share the best practices and exchange the skill manpower. All will be some of the areas we can collaborate as a regional wise. Once again, I would like to remember his genius, vision and willingness as a true mentor to me. Dear Krishna Kumar Ji, we salute you for dedicating a life to Ayurveda and holding the hand of even a small ambassador like me in various parts of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed valuable insights from your vast, deep, beautiful experience. We're obliged to have you, and all the experiences that you have shared have definitely helped us a lot. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Moving forward to Dr. Anita Mahapatra, and she would be requested to talk on Ayurveda science propagation in Malaysia in terms of publications. May I request you, madam?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, madam. Namaste.
Namaste to everyone. My humble pranam to the departed great soul Padmashri Dr. P.R. Krishnakumar Ji. For me, today is a moment of reflection, remembrance, nostalgia, and emotions. Back in 2001, I had just completed my BMS from KTS Government Ayurveda College, Odisha. Then I got the chance to join Ayurveda Chikitsalayam to learn Ayurveda practice. The institution got really lucky for me. After a few months of my joining, I got selected for my post-graduation study, where I got the chance to meet Krishna Kumar Ji. The way he spoke to me, it gave me a boundless feeling, a secure feeling. I felt like AVP is my second home. He was very quick to suggest and guide me and told me that give my best and come back. After my course, he suggested me to join research. He was very encouraging and supported me, my husband, and also our daughter. There are so many nostalgic moments on her daughter's day of birth. He gave offer prayers in the temple. then celebration of her first birthday in the trust campus, and her music concerts and so on. I remember the days when he was the first person who will be there always from the beginning to the end. I feel so grateful for those memorable days. Really, we are very fortunate to have his blessings. All I am today is because of him. Truly, I was inspired by his thoughts, his words, his deeds. And he had a quest for excellence in both services, either it's a clinical service, research, education, and also in the products. He was very particular for the quality of the products. Through him, I feel that I have acquired the values and a burning desire to benefit others, which can make a foundation for a good life. Beginning days of my professional life as a researcher, I had a chance to participate in National Institute of USA study, which was one of his dream project, and another step forward of a WHO study, which was sponsored long years ago, which was studied on RA. And also we had so many good projects where I worked, like some experimental research, some literary wing research, and also I got the opportunity to work in Sastra department, and also proud to be associated with Ancient Science of Life, which is another heritage journey of AVP, which is now PubMed Index Journal, which we did under the mentorship of Dr. Raman sir. Then formerly, Krishna Kumar Ji saw the faith in me as a youngster, and he offered me to progress my clinical skills in Malaysia. I'm extremely thankful to Tansri Gnanalingam Ji, Ms. Ponsri, and Dr. CB. Today, Ayur Center is one of the premier institutions for Ayurvedic treatment and practice in Malaysia. I salute the dedications of Ms. Ponsri and Dr. CB, along with the other physicians, associate staffs, and all the supporting staffs for the growth of Ayurveda in Malaysia. The awareness of Ayurveda in Malaysia was a big challenge. 20 years back in Malaysia, Ayurveda practice was very little, or we can say negligible. The Ayurveda understanding in the society was very less. People have some misconception, maybe due to less number of registered practitioners, or maybe due to non-availability of the Ayurvedic medicines. Then we started to propagate Ayurveda. So we started to take also some approaches. We started with the monthly talks in our premises. Then we tried to reach many institutions like NGOs, school, colleges, religious places, spiritual centers, and we used to talk on different aspects of health. Then we started writing articles in newspaper, in research journals. Beginning, it was very tough to get through the newspaper guidelines and also the Ministry of Health regulations. And also we know that we cannot claim also our treatment. So we used to write more preventive type of articles, mostly based on how to promote more health. Regarding that, we started to write the papers. Then we started to approach to TV channels, to radio channels. We started to show our presence in famous TV channels like TV7, TV3, Astro 1. And then we started to give talks on radio like BFM 99, THR, and Minal FM. Then we also associated with good association we developed with the Malayali Samajam, Tamil Samajam, and also with Temple of Fine Arts. And also we organized a few art festivals like Surya India festivals. We participated. And we actively participated mostly the NGOs like Can Survive, Pure Life Society. And also we presented many papers in international forum and national forum, which were either organized by Ministry of Health or either it is mostly the medical universities. And then later we also approached many private universities like Taylor's University, Monash University, then Unitar International University, like many. And even though we participated various platforms and we tried to show our presence, but we were able to gain people's faith by word-to-word approach. Recently, we had done one epidemiology survey that says also that the maximum patients we receive are referred by another patient. And then when look the challenges what we faced, there were a few challenges. Like Malaysia has a multi-ethnic, multicultural and multilingual society. The Malaysian population comprises of 3 ethnic groups, where the Indians only 8%, Chinese 25%, and Malaysian 67%. Then next we think about the philosophy, Hindu philosophy. If we think about that, like another country or usually different countries, they have a misconception this is based on Hindu philosophy. So people are a bit little hesitant to accept. Like again, the Malaysia, when we see the practice, they do like 61% people, they practice Islam, and the 20% they practice Buddhism, and the Christianity they practice 9%. So Hinduism they practice only 7%. So here we get first an idea that the population, at least 8% we can say those were Indians, and they were ready to accept. But later, once we started to approach different places, started to show our capability, then we started getting people also from different ethnic groups. Then another, also there is a conventional system of medicine, which has always gives a perception that Ayurveda, like it is a pseudoscientific, contains heavy metals, so it may damage your liver and kidney. So that was already a beginning challenge was there always. Then sometimes also we get some of the partial information, or we get a wrong information in the public domain. Sometimes we get some unauthorized allegations, which is as a common, any traditional medicine of health, they give such claims. So it was another challenge. And other than that, there were 2 regulatory challenges. One was stringent regulations from NPRA, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agencies, which was difficult to registration medications. And also there was challenges from the MOH regarding to bring the practitioners, the therapists, and the supporting staffs. So these are few challenges what we faced. Even though the challenges were there, but still Ayurveda Center was able to show a strong presence in Malaysia. The clinical documentation over a period of time shows that maximum patients are now Indian, which is almost 60%, followed by Chinese patient VC, and after that Malays. Chinese they cover 30%, and the Malay we cover at least 10% of the of our total number of patients. And when we see our disease category, we see the most of the patient, what we see, they are belongs to more connective tissue disorders as the highest number. After that, we see patient, those are like cancer, or maybe their next they comes chronic kidney disease, skin diseases, and then other diseases. And during this pandemic situation, we conducted several awareness programs on COVID and immunity. And also we were able to treat a lot of COVID patients and post-COVID patients of different category. And also we conducted workshops on COVID in association with the High Commission of India. And currently we are working on 2 observational studies. One is on cancer and another one we are working on the chronic kidney disease. Recently, Dr. CB published a book called Knowledge of Life, Tales of an Ayurvedic Practitioner in Malaysia. The element of storytelling are the features, some of the more common diseases among the Malaysians. So the book ranges from the metabolic disorder, drug abuse, alcoholism to depression, cancer, stroke, eczema, psoriasis, and subfertility. Currently, Dr. CB is the president of Cancer Wife Center, Malaysia, Varriar. The messages for the next generation would be like, never filter the authentic practice, always have a passion for Ayurveda, and use your Shastra judicially for the well-being of the society. And then don't let down the any other system of medicine, either in a private conversation or in a public forum. Then always try to follow the rule and regulation whichever country you go. And Malaysia, I can say there is a great future here, and we believe we will succeed. Whatever the failure comes, we will take all this as a small stepping stone for the success. Alas, the golden words given by Krishna Kumar Ji: understand your purpose of your life and give your best in everything what you do. Krishna Kumar Ji dedicated his whole life for the propagation of Ayurveda, and he lived for others. The way he lived, that inspires us. He is in our prayers, he is in our thoughts, and he is in our services. We know what Krishna Kumar Ji wanted and how he wished. We all contribute earnestly for the cause of Ayurveda. Let us try our level best to contribute the saga with his blessings. Thank you, organizers, for giving me a chance to pay my respect to Krishna Kumar Ji. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, madam. It was indeed a technical and detailed explanation about the publications and the data, which is extremely in need of the hour in terms of research is concerned, which is a new language of science in terms of propagation and awareness and spreading of Ayurveda across people who do understand and who do not understand. May I request Dr. Mrs. Gnanalingam for the question, please, if she is available. Madam. Namaste, madam.
Yes. Any questions? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am. If at all somebody has to start a center at Malaysia,
Yeah.
what would be the challenge? What would be the approach? What to focus on?
Oh my God. If you're talking about history, very different, I think, from today. I am not so familiar like what would be the difficulties now. I could only tell you what I went through is terrible, in the sense that any lesser person I honestly believe would have given up. But I'm not somebody who would so easily give up. There were many difficulties. Like, for example, the most difficult was getting the medicines registered. I have met three ministers to even challenge them as to why do you make life so difficult. And they have the answers, obviously. And they just told me there's nothing they can do. We have to comply. We have to follow the rules. And there is, in fact, the doctor from Singapore was talking, and it's quite different from Malaysia in the sense that they have, how to call it? They have a law thing that in the parliament, that was passed by parliament, that every medicine have to be registered, in the sense that if it is like a concoction, you have to do it. One of the ministers actually told me, and I challenged him, I said, why is it so easy in Singapore? Because at that point in time, I heard about one center from, I think even AVP was involved, was trying to start in Singapore. And I said, why is it so easy for them to register the medicines, within weeks or whatever? And we are taking years to do it. And he just told me, look, in Singapore, it's different. In Singapore, you have to tell what you don't have. I mean, you don't have this poison or that thing inside your medicine. But in Malaysia, they have to test it and to see what is inside. So that's the difficulty. And when he got a shock, when he said, how many herbs are inside? I showed him one of the filling the forms. He was like shocked. How on earth can you go and get this passed? It's very difficult. So he then told me, why don't you just bring in raw medicines? I said, no, we can't do that because we will have to set up a factory to produce all these things. And he said, oh, just do it like the Chinese, because Chinese medicine is different. They weigh the things and they give it to you in a package and you go back and buy yourself. So, but they bring in, a few hundred types of herbs, you see. But I said, no, that would be too much of a challenge for us to do that. And I don't know whether we could trust doing it here, you see. So anyway, we persevered. And he said, you just got to go through the process. But I think, I'm sure over the years, it is more of, I would say, the faith in us. Because they know we are not here to make money. We are here to really do good. And honestly, that's what my husband and I set out to do. That's our motivation. And my family and I have benefited a lot from IO Center. I myself have treated myself for 5 weeks in Ipoh when I had a very severe problem. And I can thank IO Center for helping me. There were many things that were told to me from the beginning. And of course, I was a bit, skeptical and say, oh, are you sure this is it's okay and that, this and that? But I can tell you, my faith in Ayurveda is very strong. My whole family, especially my daughter-in-law, my daughter, they give the kids Ayurvedic medicine. They carry it everywhere. I mean, I hope they don't listen to me and complain that we are bringing medicines into England or America. But really, the kids have taken to Ayurveda very, very well. Touch wood, we are very, very happy with, that they are very okay with it. They don't feel that it's bitter and all that. So I'm so happy that many of my family members have benefited from it. And my one intention is that I hope it is accessible to people, even to those who can't afford. We will definitely give them discounts and, free even if necessary, because our intention is not really to make money, but to really benefit people, because it is a good medicine. And I strongly believe in it. But of course, when I started, I didn't know what we were stepping into. It was like a landmine. But once started, there's no giving up. And that's how we persevered. But I'm not sure, frankly, anybody new want to start. They must have the tenacity, they must have the belief, they must have to struggle a lot with the challenges, Only thing is they believe in us now is 20 years. We have never done anything wrong. We are not there to let them know, they understand that we've been here there so long. So I think in a way, the name Ayu Center already established itself. So we can, persevere. But anybody new, I really don't know, to be honest. Maybe Dr. CB and others may have a better understanding of how it is to be able to start a center again.
Madam, your grit and your perseverance is visible. You have been onto it for 2 decades. You are basically a Chinese lady.
Yeah.
And Mr. Granalingam is from a business background. And you've come together with so much of faith in Ayurveda. What was the essence of it? What made you come to it?
Oh, to be honest, I was directed by him to do it. And I had really given up my job at that time, retired. And I was feeling quite, how do you put it? Nothing much to do. So I was really looking forward to it. And he was very busy. He had started on the pot and he wouldn't be able to spend time on looking into starting something new. He went to India. I think he met up with, I'm not sure where he was taken, but he was so convinced that we should bring it to Malaysia, because he told himself, why is it not in Malaysia? Chinese medicine is in Malaysia. Then he asked me, would you want to do something? I said, wow, well, I'll take it on, because I'm game for any challenge, because I wasn't working full-time in Malaysia Airlines. There was no way I could do that, but I was already out and I had plenty of time. So I said, okay, I'll take up the challenge without knowing. He came back in January. By May, I think, or June, July, we already launched the thing, and September we started without realizing what are the implications of doing something like that in Malaysia. If I had known, maybe I would have hesitated, to be very honest. I might have said, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this, right? I am telling you, I really had to go and meet 3 ministers. We even have gone to court, things like that. It was very stressful. But it is really my belief in it that really I'm hanging on, that I will not give up, because I know it's a good medicine. And why is the government doing this? And I challenge them, I keep challenging them, but because, okay, we come from a family who's reputable, it's a bit easier to make them think that, hey, we are not there to cause any problems. Why are we taking on this unless we believe in it? I mean, that comes from my heart. I'm just saying it out because I wasn't expecting a question like that, but that was it. Just me taking on a challenge at that point in time. Because my husband told me to do so.
Madam,
I only met Dr. Krishna Kumar after I started, We started in September. I went to India in October because I don't know what is Ayurveda. But because he told me to do it, will you do it? I said, yes, I'll do it. So that's it. Then I start my journey and I won't give up.
And he responded to you well. He was so happy seeing you, obviously, or something.
Yeah, I think, but he sometimes pity me in the sense that he thinks that I'm going through a lot of stress, a lot of stress in many ways. When I was building the center, it was also stressful because we have to, you see, in Malaysia, certain buildings, you cannot do commercial business. So we were in the building, one side of it is commercial, another side is not commercial. We have great difficulties, in trying to cope with all the laws of all these things. So which is a very local Malaysian thing. It's nothing to do with Ayurveda per se. But then, once you want to build a center and then you want to do it in a very remote area, if you're in the middle of the commercial areas, no problem. But I didn't want that, you see. I wanted to be in a very nice, beautiful surroundings and all. So there might be difficulties because that area may not allow commercial business. See? And you can apply and apply, they will just reject. So there were other issues, which is not to do with Ayurveda, but it's more the Malaysian issues, yeah? The way they look at some things.
Madam, one message to the flag bearers of Ayurveda. Guruji always asks, the world is looking for Ayurveda. The world is looking for Vaidyas. Where are the Vaidyas? Would you want to give one message to the budding flag bearers? Out of all the grit that you have been celebrating since 2 decades, can we get one essence from you, madam?
I think Dr. CB said the right thing. Honestly, if you must have faith in what you're doing and you have to stay committed and really with integrity, because I'm somebody who believes in that. Don't do it if you don't believe in it, because you will fail. As far as I'm concerned, if I believe in it, I know I will succeed no matter what. Hard, of course, going through a lot of ups and downs, uphills and into the ravines even sometimes, and then coming out. But you will survive if you believe in it. So if they trust Dr. Krishna Kumar so much, they believe in the thing and the way he has taught them, they should hang on to that philosophy. They must hang on to the teachings that he's given and don't flail, because you have to, honestly, if I suspect for 1 minute they are not telling me the truth or the belief is not strong, I've challenged them before. I say, what? You're telling me coconut oil is good, for example, and then doctor insists, yes, it's good. Then I'm saying, I think I might get cholesterol from it, something. And years later, it's proven whatever they have told me about Ayurveda has turned out true 20 years later, because they held on to it even though I challenged them. They believe in it, you hold on to it, please don't give up. Because honestly, that's the only way you are going to make it, because you believe in it. Be strong there. Wherever, which country, I'm sure you'll succeed.
Truly agreeing, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable suggestions, madam. The next question is Dr. CDCB. So can you kindly throw some light on the cancer treatment at Malaysia, its pros, its cons, difficulties, challenges, and how you have been able to overcome them?
Thank you, Prajna. Actually, I am actually, like earlier mentioned, I am the president of this Cancer Vice Center Malaysia, Bahad, which we started about 2010. My first exposure to cancer patient is through Dr. Rajagopalan, late Dr. Rajagopalan. He is somebody who taught me how to treat chronic illnesses and how to address those chronic diseases like cancer. And I had the opportunity to meet him, even though he was my examiner. And after that, He came to the hospital, Jivana Ayurveda Hospital in Coimbatore, where he was a visiting physician every month. Then after that, I always kept in touch with him. And any question about any chronic conditions, I will check with him. Sir, we have this particular condition. And then somehow there were many patients started increasing in our daily practice. Last time, maybe when the beginning, when I came to Malaysia in 2000 September, maybe hardly in a month, maybe you meet one cancer patient, or maybe two cancer patients. But over the period of this past 15 years, even today also I met cancer patients. That means every day you are meeting cancer patients. Number of cancer patients are increasing everywhere. First, like Dr. Anida was mentioning, it was difficult to convey the presence of Ayurveda to the public. So we need to be in a platform to reach to the public. That's how the Cancer Vive Center Malaysia was formed in the beginning, that you need to be an organization, then in the organization you can talk. You may not be able to talk from the platform of Ayur Center, but you can talk from a different. But that time there was this patient who came to me with a brain tumor, and her husband was actually also taking her for a pranic healer. His name is Dr. Nai, we call it Peter Nai. And he met me and said, Dr. Sibi, we have an organization called Cancer Survey Center Malaysia, Center Ayush Australia. Do you think you can open a branch here? I said, of course, we can start opening it. And by that, it's time itself. And then she already had a surgery for first surgery. And the tumor started coming back after 6 months. The tumor started growing back again. And she was suggested to have a surgery, but her husband, myself, and this doctor said, why can't we just continue our treatment program and see whether she really responds? So that time, I also talked to my Dr. Rajagopalan sir. He said, okay, start with this medication. This I'm talking about 15 years back. And she responded with our treatment, and her tumor started shrinking. Even though one of her eye was actually affected, the vision was compromised, but her right eye and the rest of the body, until now, she's still alive. She don't have any secondary issues, or the tumor is still not growing, and she's fine. So even though Cancer Vive Center Malaysia started with an aim to actually get more knowledge, to understand and learn from different experts throughout the world, it was a platform for us to learn. Also, it was a platform for us to promote Ayurveda. At the same time, number of cancer patients started also increasing day by day. And utilizing the Ayurvedic theory, Ayurvedic practice, Ayurvedic formulations, introducing to the cancer patients, also started showing so much of results. And Dr. Rajagopalan was the Amla Cancer Research Director, where it was a cancer institute in Trichur, and he was using only Ayurvedic medicine to treat. And with his guidance, and with the exposure to so many traditional and holistic physicians all over the world who also have the similar theory of treating cancer patients. Of course, it's not that conventional system is not used. It is used whenever it is needed and there is an emergency. And we also tell them, when it comes to really a stage where we can't do anything, we tell them, okay, at this point of time, maybe you should do the surgery, and after that you come to us. But if it is in the first stage and second stage, if it is not actually metastasized, we tell them, no, Ayurvedic treatment can. Ayurveda has strong theory, foundation of treating cancer. Ayurveda has strong medications which can actually address different stages of cancer. Of course, when it comes to terminal stage, no system can do anything. When it is actually spread to many different parts of the body, there only palliative care is possible. Even that palliative care, Ayurveda can be introduced. And you can also use as a complement when sometimes, okay, they are going through a chemotherapy to minimize the side effects, Ayurvedic treatment can be introduced. After doing the chemotherapy to revive the patient, to rejuvenate him back, Ayurvedic treatment can be introduced. So in different stages, pure Ayurvedic authentic medicines can be introduced, and which will definitely help to a greater extent. We have to just use the pure Ayurvedic treatment. And if you don't think this stage is something you can't treat, no need to actually say anything apart from that. You just tell the patient, okay, we don't think that we can manage it. You better go ahead. The conventional approach, we don't think we can. But if it is a stage where Ayurveda can treat, definitely you can go ahead with it. Whether it is first stage, second, third, or fourth, Ayurveda can definitely play a role. I can just tell you one case. I hope the time is there. There was this lady who came to me, and she had a tumor about 23 centimeters growing within the uterus area. And the tumor already started touching the intestine and the pelvic bone. And the doctor said, sorry, madam, we can't treat you because if we do a surgery, it may be complicating. It may touch your intestine, it may bleed, or you have to go back and try some other treatment program, and it is cancerous. So she came, this is actually 10 years back. She came and she said, okay, this is my stage. Do you think anything can be done? So we have our normal routine program of introducing Snehana, introducing Virechana, introducing internal herbal combination. She stayed with us almost for 90 days. Then I said, okay, now you may go and do a scan. So from that 23 centimeter, it has reduced to 8 to 9 or 13 centimeter or 12 centimeter, if I'm not mistaken. And then now said, okay, now maybe you can go back to the doctor, see whether you can remove it or not. She went back to the doctor. Doctor said, oh yeah, now it looks like it is not touching any part of the body. Your intestines are free, your pelvic bone is free, we can remove it. And they removed it with a surgery. There it's an integrative approach, because for us, patient is more important than anything. Of course, you are introducing an authentic treatment program. When it is needed, use an integrative approach, remove the tumor. Now she is still alive and she is actually healthy. There is no problem. And even though it was a cancerous condition, we could do that. So that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it can be integrative. Sometimes purely an Ayurvedic treatment can be introduced. Thank you. I hope I answered your question, Prajna.
That was detailed explanation of how to take and how not to take, how to scrutinize, what is the approach. It was very useful. The next question would be to Dr. V.C. Ajit Kumar, sir. What are the legal formalities one needs to follow and understand if I want to practice in Malaysia?
In Singapore.
In Singapore.
In Singapore.
Yeah, an Ayurvedic, a qualified Ayurvedic doctor can come to Singapore, provided they have a valid employment visa. So some local sponsors should be there to formalize his visa and get the employment visa by MOM. He can come to Singapore. And he has to be registered. We have an organization called APAS, Ayurvedic Practitioners Association in Singapore, because Ayurveda is not a regulated medical body in Singapore, not regulated like MOH, by MOH, unlike Malaysia. So, but still we can practice, and any communication, the MOH will be communicate with only APAS. So they will give a guidelines, and we can practice the Ayurveda in Singapore, because I am an Ayurvedic doctor, worked in government service in India, and I give up my job and come here, and I can proudly say that I am seeing the patient every day, morning 9 to until 10:30, and in my practice, I will be teaching the patients relevance of Ayurveda. I don't bother about what they are saying. Even the most around every day around 10 to 20 of Western doctors, they are coming for the treatment here. and we will talk, but we don't talk the modern terminology. We have our own way to diagnose the case, and I will teach them. This is the way we will be considering, and this is the dosha gopa we are looking to it. We are only reversing this dosha gopa, and we will show them. And today, every day, I am seeing around 30 to 40 patients, and the initial stage of my patient consultation, I will spend around 40 to 50 minutes per a patient to teach Ayurveda. That is, these are all the wisdom and courage we got it only because of our Gurukula teaching that Krishna Kumar Ji gave a mild introduced at the time, and Dr. Sibi and I am the classmates, and we studied together for 7 years. And I have a small stint in Malaysia also, and I am running 2 Ayurvedic centers in Malaysia also. One of the center providing all the in-house facilities there also. And comparing to Malaysia, Singapore, Malaysia, I found it is a bit easy to establish. In Singapore, there are getting manpower is a big issue. There is a quota system. We had to give opportunities for the local Singaporeans. If you want to get one therapist or a doctor or foreigner, we had to employ 9 local people. So comparing to Singapore, Malaysia is quite easy, and it is also regulated medical system. MOH is regulated that system in Malaysia, whereas in Ayurveda, not regulated, but we can practice only provided we don't make any mistake. And the medicine point of view, we had to make sure that there is no heavy metal in our medicine what we prescribe. And now the Kottakkal and Arya Vaidya Pharmacy, Coimbatore, they are, if we want to export the medicine, they themselves do all the heavy metal test. So 18 years I am bringing the Ayurvedic medicine so far. HSA and all, periodically they will come and check up and take samples for the check. And they will see the heavy metal test and all mainly. And so far, for this 18 years, we are not troubled. And we can practice. All the medicines we are giving, the kashayam, tablet and everything, but provided we make sure that there is no heavy metal inside. That is a thing we have to be careful about it.
Thank you so much, sir. You're giving us so much strength and support like Krishna Kumar Ji to be able to think of any future in Singapore, and thanks every member for enhancing our dimensions and understanding of Ayurveda abroad. पापांधकारarka परंपराभ्याम तापत्रयाहीन्द्र खगेश्वराभ्याम जाड्याब्दि संशोषण वाढवाभ्याम नमो नमः श्री गुरु पादुकाभ्याम. Shining radiantly like the sun, effacing the endless darkness of disciples' sin, like an eagle for the snake, like threefold pains of samsara, like a conflagration of fire whose heat dries away the ocean of ignorance. To such padukas of my Guru, I humbly surrender. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, one and all, for joining and enlightening us through your journey. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
Madam Puansri, you had graced our program with your valuable time and within your valuable time and busy schedule. We are honored, madam, and we once again apologize for the technical delay.
No,
Dear Dr. Sibi,
I must apologize.
No, madam. Dear Dr. Sibi sir, Ajit Kumar sir, and Anita Mahapatra madam, your presence itself enriched and enhanced our program. You shared how Krishna Kumar Ji influenced your life, and we could have another glimpse of him through your memories. The discussion and analysis of yours would definitely be productive to those who are seeking to have a global Ayurvedic career and would inspire them as well. Dr. Pratnya, thank you for joining us today to moderate today's program. You have been a constant present in our campus for our programs until COVID. Your desire for knowledge is unmatched, and we are happy to know that Krishna Kumar Ji shaped your journey. We once again bow to Krishna Kumar Ji's great soul. Thank you everyone for joining Prachar, organized by Ashirvad Health and Education Trust and Sharanya Ayurveda Hospital, supported by the Arya Vaidya Pharmacy, Coimbatore Limited and Ashirvad Ayurveda Pharmacy. We will continue tomorrow, same time, same place. Today's program will be available on YouTube of Sharanya Ayurveda Hospital. Thank you everyone. Good night.
Mm-hmm.